FordC-Max hybrid model. Okay, so what I am doing today is my window is off track and it won't roll up. Okay, it's happened before. So I'm going to take this piece off, reveal the nut, well, the screw. Yeah, the screw. And because there's a screw behind here that holds the panel on. There is a screw behind here that holds it on. And then this comes up, and there's one back there. And then there's a screw down here too, right here. Okay. Okay. I'll try to keep this as simple as possible. I'll let you know, I am not a professional by all means. I'm just an amateur. Okay. So I don't have the best tools, but I have tools that get the job done. So hopefully this is understandable enough for you and you can see what I'm doing. Kind of tempted to switch my camera around so that it will be a better view so I can see what you're seeing. Hold on. Okay. So I have this little reflector piece taken off of here. And then it is a, I think this is the right one. So this is a 7mm that we have here. Or it could also be a 9/32. So I'll just use the one that's already on my thing. Okay, easy as that. All right, so now the next part is loosening up here. So just kind of stick my screwdriver in there, my flathead, and I just kind of loosen it. We have that piece. And then that also takes the same, I think. Yeah. So it's just a little bolt or screw, however you want to say it. So it's just simple like that. And then the next part, now I could show you that the window doesn't roll up if you like that. I'll go ahead and show you really quick. See, it rolls up a little bit and then it automatically goes right back down. So that means it's off track like really bad right now. So now I just need to pop this loose. And try not to break my car. Like I said, I am not a professional, not even in the least. Then when you get this piece off, it's best to unhook the thing. And it's just got a little clip there. Well, this piece is off. Now we have these little screws in here. Let me go ahead and pull you closer so you'll be able to see what I'm doing. If you can see that there. Hopefully that's better. I just double check and make sure I have the right piece. And that one was a T27. So I need the T25. Yeah, the T25 is for the door itself. Then I just have this little tool that this just fits in, because it's a lot easier with a screwdriver piece to do this. And with these screws, I'm just going to put them with this piece so that I know that they go by the door handle. Okay. Now, one more to undo, and that is right down at the bottom of the door. I have this little one down here. I think I got it. So for the bottom of the door, it's the 7mm. All right. So I have each of the pieces loosened, and then I just basically take my flat end of my screwdriver here. Go ahead and lift you up so you can see and get a good view. So that I can kind of pop those brackets out. There we go. So that is loosened now. Okay. And I'm doing this by myself, so I'm trying to make sure you can see what I am doing here. All right. So you see that lever right there? Yeah. I wish I could actually show you how I get it undone. Okay. But first, we're going to undo that piece there. So we need to disconnect that wire, and we need to disconnect that. A lever there, see? And then right here, I have to remember how I did it last time. Because it has been a couple of days. Oh yeah, so it has this little clip right there. And hopefully you can see that. But just this little piece right there. You just kind of pull that back and lift it right off. Okay, now the door panel is free. want you to be able to see what I'm doing. So this next part, all right, so we have these screws here. We need to undo this right here, because we're gonna have to take off this black thing here. And we will have to pull off these little clamp pieces that hold the wires to the car. There, that's all done. And then we do have this. I want to make sure I don't get any of the screws mixed up. I'm sure it would be fine if I did. Okay. Let me make sure we undo this clamp. Okay. Like a whole bunch of wire clusters here. And then we do need to undo the speaker wire. We'll just clip that out. And we'll just kind of set those aside. They just kind of hang there. And then we need to take off the speaker here. Move it down a little. My new equipment. And we only do the ones that are the white ones. We don't take care of the ones that are connecting the black. Okay, we have that loose now. There was just 3 screws. All right, now we need to get this off. I've taken it off before. It's a little sticky, so what I've done in the past is I have like a carpet tool. It has a blade on it. One moment. Okay, so I have this little tool here that adds a little blade, and so when I've gone around this, I've just kind of loosened the black sticky stuff, and then it has seemed to like really stick back on really well. See, it just kind of helps it peel right off. But it still keeps the rest of those pieces intact. so that it can stick right back on at a later time. And it does take a little bit of time, so just take your time. Okay, so this piece is off. Let's set that aside. Okay, and close my blade so I don't cut myself. So now I need to show you the inside of the door where it's off track, and then we'll go into the next step. Okay, so you see inside there where the window is off this track there? That's what we're fixing. It is like even worse than it was last time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna undo this one, undo this one, undo this one, and undo this one. Undo those pieces. And for these bottom ones down, for these other ones, it does take a T27 hex head like this. And it's not too difficult to take off now because I have done it one time before. Although this isn't always the best tool to use for that. But it's the one that I have that works. So it's the one that we're going to use. I got that. I'll go ahead and go in here. And then if these screws do drop, it's easy enough to get it out of the bottom part of the door. All right, got that one. I'll come over and get this one here. Going on a little bit of a road trip and I need this window to roll up. All right, now that we have that loosened, it's the finagling of getting the window back into the track. I'll put you at a different section here so you can see. So basically, I loosen it all up so that I can scooch the window one way and put it back in the track, and then it scooches right back. But being that it's like totally like way off the track. Okay, so putting it back in the track isn't too difficult. So I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like now that I have it back on track. Okay, let's see this. It's back on track in there. Just had to finagle it. What has happened is that for some reason when the door gets slammed, like when the window's down, it like ricochets back. Like, see how that is up there? It ricochets back and it causes it to go off track. And now I'll just have to put all these back where they are and then we'll test it. Okay, so now that I have it back on track, I have to get the pieces of the window back on track. So I have my little nuts here. Go ahead and put this one in here. A little clumsy sometimes, so I won't like totally tighten it because it does need to be a little bit loose so I can finagle the other piece together. Then over here, go ahead and lift that up and put the screw in. And once I get all of these back in, I'll show you the window rolling up before I put everything all back together. Okay. And then I have the next piece here. And this one is pretty much lined up where it needs to be, thank goodness. It's not too off kilter there. I might have it just a little bit off though. They could make the hole a little bit bigger to be able to get into, but at least they don't make it smaller. And this one I could just tighten up all the way since it is where it needs to be. All right. Now we have this other piece over here. And this one is a little bit more off. Use my little fingers there and screw it in. So I know there is an actual hole to put these bits in. Just other ones that I have don't work for what I'm doing. All right, so I have that. Then I'm gonna double check and make sure that the window's still where it needs to be. Okay, So the window's still where it needs to be. Looks good. Now, make sure we tighten these fully up. We don't want to leave those loose. So those are tightened up. Now let's make sure that the window will roll up how it needs to be. Alright, so now I'm going to try to roll up the window, but I have to roll it up from the driver's side because that's disabled at the moment. Look, it rolls up! Yay! Okay, so you can see the window is rolled up. It's where it needs to be. So now the next step is putting everything back together again. Okay. So now to put everything back together again. I got all that done. So next step is putting this black cover back on. And just kind of remember where everything went. We have this piece here. And then we just kind of line things up as we go. Make sure the extra little holes and little pieces line up as good as we can. It's as easy as that. Okay, now, next step that we need to do is we'll put the speaker piece back on. I have my speaker here. Yep, just like that. I'll make sure that when you're putting it back on, go ahead and move you closer so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Okay, kind of sit on the side of my car here. Technical difficulties because I sat on a rock. All right. So we have this little port here. You want to make sure that that lines back up. And then it does have little like little tabs like that kind of help it sit where it needs to sit while you're trying to get it all back in where it's going. All right, everything's lined up, and then we just put the screws back in. Okay, speaker piece is back in, and then we'll just go ahead and plug that back on where that goes, okay? And then the other piece here, so it has this little tab here, and we'll just push that right back in, that little piece. And this is where the bracket went. Oh, put those little bracket pieces in my center console so they didn't get confused with the others. I'm sure they're just the same as the others, but I would rather make sure that they're going to be put back in the same position. And I like to make sure that I don't cross thread it. So if it's giving me trouble going in, I kind of back it out a little bit and kind of finagle it a little bit. Just kind of ease it in so it's not gonna like totally be all screwy. Then this piece, I'm pretty sure goes back there. And this piece goes back here, and then these pieces go to the other part of the door, and this piece I hope you guys saw all that. And then this piece goes back in there. We just clip that together. Like that, we've got that. Got that all in. Then this little clip here, clip that back into the door. And make sure all of my little things are secure. All right. So the next step is putting the door cover back on. Yeah, door panel. Basically, this piece goes down to the door handle piece. This piece goes up in the other piece. Go ahead and click that in there. Go ahead and click this piece back in. And then we just set that back down on the door. And we have this piece here. And that piece is already connected. See? It's already working. Then we just go along and make sure that each of the little pieces that need to be pushed back in their spots get put where they need to go. And they're pretty much all where they need to go. It clicks in like really easily. Takes a fraction of the time that it does to take it off. Basically, this piece is just going back on the bottom section where I showed you at the beginning. We just screw that back in. So that piece is done. All right. Oh. And this takes the T25 piece. We just screw this piece back in here on the door. And this other piece we screw on here. And then this piece here, we'll make sure that we reconnect it back in this little slot piece here. See, this right here? Go ahead and connect that back in there, and just clicks right in. Okay. And then this pretty much just snaps back in. There, that piece is all done. And then we still have this screw piece that connects up here by the door handle. Piece that connects in the door handle. And then put that piece back in. There we go. And then this piece is pretty much goes like this and just snaps right back in. Yeah. Okay, that piece is done. We've got one more screw and piece to put back on. And this is a little reflector piece with this screw. Okay, we have this piece here. This goes in there. So the prong piece goes on the bottom. Goes in the bottom, and then that snaps in. There we go. All right. Well, that is how I fixed my window on my car when it went off track. I hope that is helpful to some. I hope it was educational to others. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye now.